Welcome to your regular reminder that our world is fucked. The world is fucked. We're now at that point where bringing up the fact that the loudest country on earth is being helmed by a billionaire rapist Satsuma is teetering on the border of cliché. This man who gleefully forgets that if he traced his family tree back a few generations, he'll find out that the word American doesn't mean a great deal if you're white, or whatever the fuck he is. So instead of banging on about this for 4 minutes, let's focus on a smaller subset of the world that is still to some extent fucked. It's nearly 3 years ago now that I first brought up the idea that scheduled TV was in the final few years of its life, and let's just say I wasn't exactly a mystical soothsayer glancing into a crystal ball. It wasn't a theory that was shunned by the masses for being too out there and too crazy. In fact, I thought everyone knew. But the other week I was looking at Twitter, which nowadays is like sticking your head into a food processor full of marbles, and I saw a big discussion under the banner, "Which Saturday night entertainment programme will you watch? The Voice or Let It Shine?" An article that seems to not only be unaware of scheduled TV's decline, but seems to also be ignoring the fabled technology of video recording, a technology that's been available since a time when sharing a bed with a bloated bag of ice cream and smegma wasn't a responsibility for the First Lady. You can now watch both if you have an IQ higher than an empty matchbox. So since I have nothing better to do, let's pit these two speed bumps on the road to the grave against each other in a battle royale that sadly can't be to the death. In the ITV corner, we have the 168th series of The Voice, a show that used to air on the BBC but jumped ship, starting something of a trend last year. When I watched this show, I couldn't help but notice that ITV was dancing around and smacking its bum at the BBC as some kind of gloat, which made it look like a man dancing around because he used all the heroin from the AIDS needle. If you haven't seen The Voice, well done. It's basically some people who all sound the same performing to the back of some chairs, and if the chairs are pleased with the performance, they turn around to reveal some twats and Tom Jones. In the BBC corner we have Let It Shine, exactly the same show, but instead of spinning chairs, the identical contestants must sing to please a light-up floor. If they give a good performance, the star floor expands to its full length and showers them in white stars. If they are not good enough, the floor barely twitches and they have to get the next person to rub it with a damp flannel. So if you're thinking of applying to one of these shows, the real question is, what can you expect if you win? Well, if you win Let It Shine, you become part of a boy band for a touring musical, and if you win The Voice, you get, I don't know, a go in the chair, some of the random debris that will.i.am stapled to his face. I think that's a point to let it be, mainly because you actually get a job in this business you're interested in, and let's face it, winning The Voice does for your music career what a clove of garlic up your nose does for polio. So congratulations, you've made it onto the show of your choice, but which allegedly famous faces will you be wobbling into? Because that's another staple of this genre of telly, the judges. Well, both provide a tangerine grandpa whose music is actually good, Tom Jones and Martin Kemp, fuck off, Spandau Ballet is good. The Voice fills the gaps with Gavin Something and Jennifer Aniston, along with will.i.am, a man who's responsible for that song a couple of years ago which sounds like a Ford Focus slamming into your eardrum repeatedly. Whereas Let It Shine includes someone from Glee, Danny Minogue, a woman with a facial expression for every day of one Wednesday, and Gary Barlow, who I'm sure is a lovely bloke, but he has all the passion of a roll of carpet being pushed into a puddle. I mean, he certainly does have the ability to make middle-aged women at risk of drowning in their own juices, but listening to him talk about his greatest love is like watching a weatherman talk about dense cloud over Dunstable. At this point, the one-on-one competition thing starts to fall apart. I mean, the obvious winner is Let It Shine, by the simple fact of more likeable people involved. And actually, to be honest, I wasn't as miserable watching these as I expected. I wasn't happy, but when I was watching Celebrity Big Brother, I was looking at a very tempting box of ibuprofen, so they weren't bad at all. Both of these ape off different pre-established shows and improve on them spectacularly. The Voice is an X Factor clone, but improves on it by not showing failed auditions in which billionaires laugh at poor people for having the audacity of dreaming. Also, the judges are actual musicians who could help the contestants rather than arseholes who think that vibrato is the height of artistry, rather than just a thing for stimulating cunts. Let It Shine copies those Andrew Lloyd Webber shows, like Coming Over a Rainbow, or that one about the homeless gay fella. What was it? Oh yeah, Jesus, that was it. But improves upon them massively by this time not having them overseen by a hideous reptile beast. They're both better than I expected, but don't watch them. They're still utterly pointless. Nowadays, being a solo singer is like being a fire and rubble salesman at the next country the West decides to help. We've got far too much of that already, thank you. Now get a dustpan and help, you useless fucker. The world is fucked.